Hello, this is Steve with another Cambridge video. Use of English part 3, something we're all practicing a lot. It's very easy to practice, especially with the modern technology nowadays. But in this video, I'm going to go over the most common mistakes that I see from students in part 3, because there is a bit of technique, a bit of skill, a bit of, once you learn how to do it, you won't make this mistake again. So what I've got here is a text about tattoos, because I just watched the Kurzgesagt video about tattoos, seeing the needles going into the skin. Whatever you think about tattoos, great video, recommend it. And I thought, okay, let's use this in class. Let's watch the video, let's talk about it, let's do a bit of grammar about it, about the social perception of tattoos and what it means to have a tattoo. So what you should probably do is pause the video. I'll put the text in the description again because it's a bit easier like that. You know how part 3 works. You need to use number 1. You need to transform the word so it fits the sentence. Take a couple of minutes to do it. Obviously there's 12 questions here, there's only 8 in the exam, but let's go and look at the answers. As we go through the answers, what are the tricks? What are the mistakes that we've made? Well, number 1, the answer is considerably. And I'm hoping you got this because how has it shifted? How has it done it? We're following a verb. We're going to use an adverb. And I say this as my first point. That is a common mistake. Maybe you see consider and you think considerable, considerate. Considerable is a common word on the exams. A considerable increase. There has been a considerable increase in the number of tattoos. There it's going to be an adjective. In this sentence, it's going to be an adverb. You need to read the sentence very carefully. And if you need an adverb, because of the structure of the sentence, because we are saying how something has happened, or we're describing an adjective, then you need to use the adverb, which means in English normally li. Number 2, this is another common trick. The perception of tattoos has shifted from symbols of rebellion. They were in the past. They were symbols of rebellion in the past. What are they today? They are expressions of individuality. Expression. Not difficult if you speak a Romance language, Latin language, pretty easy. But you got to get the S. The sentence, symbols of rebellion, expressions of individuality. Also the fact that it could say an expression, but it doesn't say an. So my second point, the common mistake I see, plurals. There will normally be 1 or 2 words that have to be plural because of the structure of the sentence. So make sure you don't lose a mark just because you didn't write an S when you did all the hard work of getting the answer. Number 3, there's not really a rule here. It's just what's the verb from stigma? Stigmatize, stigmatized, past tense, associated, stigmatized. We can see they were associated, they were stigmatized, now they're recognized. It's going to be past tense. Number 4, this is another typical word. I wouldn't really call it a mistake though, but identify, identity. If you said identification, that's not right. They are not a powerful symbol of how to, identification means your ID card to tell who is who. I mean, you could do that, I guess. You could tell who is who by a tattoo, but that's not the real reason for it, is it? It's about your identity and your beliefs. So identity from the context of the sentence. Number 5, another typical C1 word, create, creation, creator, creativity, or even creative. Well, that's probably a bit easy. But creativity, the noun from the verb create. Tattoos have gained, this one's a little bit irregular, that's why I included it, because you're going to get irregular words on the C1 exam. From recognize, you gain recognition. Lots of recognition for all the work you've done, or recognition as legitimate forms of art. With skilled tattoo, celebrated for their talent and craftsmanship. Well, we need people, don't we? People are celebrated for their talent and craftsmanship. The people who do art are artists. And again, it's going to be plural. This is another one that has to be plural because we're talking about artists, tattoo artists in general. There is more than one tattoo artist in the world. Bit of an easy one, art artists. But you might, you could also see science scientists, visitors, people words. Basically, you might see some people words on the exam. Number 8, this is another irregular one. Well, I say irregular. It's not irregular, is it? It is a pattern, but acceptance. Acceptance is the noun. Acceptance has grown, but there are negative stereotypes. This was very important. You see profession, and you think professional, but we are talking about negative stereotypes of tattoos, so from context, it is negative. They are unprofessional. This is my third point, negatives. there will normally be a word or two that from the context of the sentence needs to be made negative. Organized, disorganized, professional, unprofessional, legal, illegal, and so on. And they might often be one of these, doubling the letters, like responsible, irresponsible, where you have to double those letters. So learn your common negatives and read the sentence to make sure it makes sense when you're talking about a negative word. Number 10, this is just a specific word, isn't it? I wanted to include some that are just, you have to know the word. That we're talking about a place, a situation. There's going to be the settings. Again, plural, because certain settings, not in a certain setting, but in certain settings. Number 11, similar to number 8. So I always try to include some patterns on these to prove that there are patterns you can learn. Accept, acceptance. Tolerate, tolerance. It is the same suffix. And the last one, another typical one. How are the attitudes? They are not just positive, that's an adjective. We need an adverb because we're describing the adjective. They are increasingly positive. So again, it's an adverb. So we've got a couple of adverbs, a couple of plurals, and a negative. A very representative C1 use of English part 3. Please keep this in mind when doing use of English part 3. To practice it, make texts. This is another ChatGPT text, but you can find this in a news article, in newspaper articles, magazine articles, blogs, whatever people read nowadays. And you can play with these words, and once you start to recognize the patterns, then you're getting very good at it. Okay, that's all for today. A little use of English part 3 practice. Please subscribe for more Cambridge practice like this. Goodbye.